beautiful souls. Welcome to another day, another reading. We are going to start off with my herbal astrology deck. Once again, if any of the decks stick out to you, I do have affiliate links down below in the description bar, as well as a link to my website for you to book a reading with me. So definitely check out the description bar for links and goodies. Okay, so let us see what comes out for you guys for the month of December. So we have Bob and Sana, Trust. Right? We have Rosemary, Ancient Memory. And we have Mitragenia, Shape-Shifting. So all of this is giving me like Akashic Records vibes. Like trust, I was going to say it could be that you're right now in a place where you're struggling to trust that things are going to work out for you, or trust that the situation that you're in is meant for your greater good, especially if it's a negative situation, if it's a heavier situation. It may feel very difficult to connect right now. But with the other two cards, it feels like an energy of learning about yourself and learning maybe about, for some of you, it might be learning about past lives and seeing how those karmic situations are like recycling in your life currently. For others of you, it might just be a sense of connecting with your guides and connecting with your spiritual team in a deeper way so that you can move forward with more enlightenment and more knowledge of self and your team. So the sense of like learning more about your spiritual team so that you can learn how to trust the guidance that you receive and learn how to differentiate between the different maybe voices or advice that you get, recognizing the benevolent energies versus the negative energies in your life, and trying to differentiate and see what is for you and what is not for you, right? So there's definitely this energy of connecting deeper, connecting more with your higher self, and connecting in a deeper way. And it might definitely benefit you to do some guided meditations. There are plenty of meditations here on YouTube, so I would definitely recommend that you connect with those. I personally did one that was like connecting to your spirit guides, and it was an interesting vision because during it, it was like at the end it was saying that in one hand you were being given a feather, and in the other hand you were being given something else, and for me it was cocoa. And it's been a few days, like it's come through in different ways over the past few days of what that could mean. It came through in conversations, which was interesting. It came through this deck. I looked for the Coco card, and I think it was something to do with like intuition or connecting. It had something to do with like connection, and it's all kind of made sense. And I allow myself a lot more lately to just go with the flow and allow my guides and my angels and my spiritual team to just give me direction. So for example, last night I was like, okay, thinking about what I would do in the morning, and the thing that came up for me was making a chamomile bath, and I did, and it was actually really nice. It was really soothing and calming, and I'm probably more sleepy now, but I have to believe that, or not have to believe, but I know that it serves a purpose for me. It definitely helps me feel a lot more mellow, so I like it. But yeah, just like listening to the little things that come up. For me, I'm starting to recognize like the most random things are all serving a purpose. So for example, I've been guided to go to Goodwill once before, which I never went to Goodwill, and I was able to find a book on medicinal herbs and like different applications and uses, which has proven very helpful for me. So that was a beautiful thing. Another thing I was guided to do was to just listen to music in the park here, and I was just swinging on a swing, and it was just a freeing experience for my inner child. So just learning to trust what your guides are saying, but not only to trust, but to follow through and to listen. And many of you are going to need that here in the month of December, especially going into 2024. You need to learn to listen to your guides, and you need to learn to listen to your intuition. I feel like a lot of people find it to be a lot more difficult, especially if you haven't had a chance to really listen to your intuition. It can be scary to kind of have that level of trust, but the more you do it and the more you kind of surrender in a way, the more it comes up in a better way for you. For me personally, at the start of this year, literally January 1st, 2023, my last day going to church, but while I was sitting in church, I just heard in my mind, this is the year to learn about you. And when I say that probably kickstarted my spiritual awakening in another level. I think I was already going through one, but in a whole nother level. And the thing that allowed me, or series of steps that helped me to tap into my intuition in a deeper way, was when I allowed myself to think as an individual. For me, I have always kind of struggled between beliefs of like Christianity beliefs versus what I believe, and things that I would be curious about, and things that were being called demonic or evil. But like for me, it just didn't make sense, and there were other things that made sense to me. So one of the strongest parts for me was when I finally allowed myself to think deeper and to not think about what other people, specifically my parents, would think about things, or how it would impact them, or how it would affect them, or what they would say about it. Like, a lot of my life was focused on thinking about how they perceived things or how they would respond to things. I was basically trying to mirror after what I saw, even though it didn't quite feel congruent with me. And there were things that were coming up for me that, according to family members, were demonic. But for me, it just felt so natural. For example, like my piercings, right? The things that very, very looked down upon. Also getting locks, something that was said to be like insanity, but in reality, I feel like it's allowed me to connect deeper and stronger with my ancestors, and just it feels more spiritually right and morally right. And when I allowed myself to tap into my higher self, the version of myself that I saw, which I feel like I'm slowly getting there, but the version of myself that I saw was so very different from my past or what was expected of me. And instead of being afraid of that, I allowed myself to follow it and to go deeper into it. And I have found so much more peace in allowing myself to ask questions, because before, something like talking to yourself, or I was so deeply intuitive and deeply psychic, but I had no idea that I was. And once I started to allow myself to ask the questions of like, what does this mean? What do I believe? What are the origins of this? And what does this mean? And the more and more that I have allowed my mind to expand and allowed myself to learn things, I started off with the perspective of like, okay, if this doesn't end up being right or correct, or, doesn't feel right, then I'll go back to what I was doing before. But the more and more I learned, the more and more I progressed, learning about herbalism, learning about like witchcraft, learning about different things, crystals and tarot and oracles. For me, it just brought me into a deeper sense of feeling at home. Like, I felt more and more connected to myself and connected to my guides. And I've seen that manifest time and time again, especially through like herbalism things and like teas that I've been guided to make, in places I've been guided to go, and even in following the instruction, seeing the manifestation of that, and like almost being rewarded. For example, coming here to Sedona has been a healing thing for me, but it was very much random, very much on the whim. But, after dealing with that, of feeling for several months of feeling stagnant and feeling like where I was not correct, being able to move beyond that and make that step and say, okay, you know what? I am quitting my job. I am leaving the state. I am setting boundaries and cutting people off. I am going to do what I want to do and what I love to do and find joy in every moment and everything that I'm doing. And it hasn't been easy for sure, but I have literally seen miracles happen in this path. I mean, I can definitely share the journey of coming here across the country, because that in itself was very miraculous. But it's just been this ever learning, ever growing situation of just like, the more you listen, the more you learn, the more you just get closer and closer to your higher self, your higher consciousness, and it just feels more and more in alignment, and it's just a beautiful place to be. So, I mean, this might be specifically for someone watching, but like, allow yourself to trust yourself. That is the biggest thing. Trust yourself. Trust that the things that you're feeling and the things that you're hearing are true. For again, like, for me, I was in this place where I felt stagnant and I felt stuck, and that's not a very good feeling for me, especially when I get to a place where I feel dried up creatively, and I feel like it just didn't feel right to be working in the job that I was working. And me being who I am, I felt that, okay, maybe it's the position, maybe I just need to move higher, because that's what I do. I keep ascending into promotions and higher things because I always want to learn more and do more. And then I did that, and it was worse. And that was the point where I was like, okay, this is not it. And the past version of me would have just sat there and succumbed to it and let it be, because that's a safe thing to do. But when I really allowed myself to be like, you know what, no. I am 23. I am only going to be this young once. I am only going to have this time once in this lifetime, and if I choose to remain stuck, it is a injustice to myself. It is a disservice to myself. And for a while, I had felt guided to come to Arizona, so that was clear to me. But once I quit, I was like, oh, I'll just travel to like a few, like each state at a time. I'll meander there slowly but surely. I went to West Virginia first, and it was really beautiful, but it was also that feeling of being stuck happened again, and I was like, why do I feel like this? I feel like depressed. And then it was like, I just needed to do a straight shot to Arizona. It was crazy the amount of times I was using it like cash that my coworkers gave me, which I love them for. That was beautiful. That got me like halfway there. I think that got me to Texas. And then I have an Apple credit card that was already maxed out. It was already maxed out. Like, I had paid a few times into it so that I had money, and I used it a few times for gas. But the number of times, and this is the bizarre thing because it's such a strict card, it's such a strict system, the number of times that I put it into the gas station just for the heck of it, and it worked multiple times when it was clearly over, but it wouldn't like process right away, or it would glitch. And it's like, doing that incrementally, and like with the donations of friends and all of that combined, it was miraculous. The fact that I even got to Sedona and just seeing that manifestation of energy, it was just like, okay, this is definitely somewhere I need to be, because literally the universe is conspiring to get me here one way or another. And I got here, and it was just like, was beautiful. First of all, I stalled outside of the city, which was crazy, but looking back, I think it was like a symbol of like just realizing that this being here was a slowing down. After being in an energy of being ramped up and going for years, this place and being here has been an energy of slowing down, calming down, and refocusing. And the amount of downloads that I've received and clarity that I've received about what I want to do in the next phase of my life, it's always been there. It's always been clear to me that that is something that I would want to do, you know, at some point in the future. But especially with Sagittarius season, it's becoming clear that it's something that I want sooner. And it's just like the amount of clarity that I've received, the amount of downloads I've received, and just going day by day by what I'm guided to do has been a powerful thing for me. And I still get in these times where I'm like, okay, I need to make money. And, you know, I do what I need to do, but it's like that I've recognized that feeling only comes from fear, because any other time when I'm not worried about money, I'm not worried about bills, I'm not worried about credit, I'm not worried about all these things, I'm at peace. Like, I'm perfectly content. And it's just this energy of like realizing that everything will work out and understanding that it will, no matter, like, I don't see it right now, but like the very fact that I can see with such clarity what the future holds, right? What my higher self is attuned to, the very fact that I am connected deeper within myself and I'm grounded and I don't feel anxious, I don't feel stressed, even though in the 3D I should be. And just recognizing that and having that level of peace and knowing, it's just like, I know everything has to work out. It's going to, and it is already. And it's like, you just have to have that level of confidence, not only in yourself, but in your spiritual team and the universe, and knowing that everything is conspiring in your favor when you really want something, right? And I definitely recommend you read The Alchemist. It was a very beautiful book, but the thing that stuck out to me, when you really want something, all of the universe will conspire to make it happen for you. And I was even watching this video, and this is obviously turning into a talking video, but I was watching and listening to this video earlier, and I was speaking about having this level of detachment from the problems, from not just the problems, but from everything, where it's like everything is just neutral for you. You don't see anything as necessarily the problem or the solution or bad or good, but you just approach everything with a level of neutrality where it's like, okay, this particular thing is happening and it is not for or against me. It is simply there. And it's like, it only has the amount of power that you give to it, right? Where energy, where your focus is, that's where your energy flows. So if you're focusing on the problem, you're going to amplify the amount of that problem that's going to happen, or more problems for you. If you're focused on the solution, you're probably going to amplify more solutions or more means of solving the problem. And it's like, you really have to choose how you approach each thing that comes up in your life. How do you choose to approach each moment, each obstacle in your life, by not even viewing it as an obstacle, viewing it simply as it being so, you know? Like, I'm here where my finances are the issue, the problem, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm alive, I have food, I'm able to, I'm in good health, I'm in great health, I'm able to eat when I want to or need to. If I need to make money, I can. And that, for me, that's through Instacart, that's through doing tarot readings for you guys, that's through whatever I need it to be. but it's also like I could get a job. I was in such a place of fear, even though I've said I'm never going back to the Matrix again, because I know what that represents for me, and I know how heavy that is for me to work in an environment where I don't have the control over my time and what I'm doing. I need to have that autonomy. It's literally, it's just, it is what it is. And I'm like, I got to a point of fear where I applied for jobs and I was like, none of it felt right. I've tried doing remote tasks online and like applying for like remote jobs. I've tried so many different things, and when I tell you, it just doesn't feel right. Like the amount of resistance for me, and it's not laziness. We have to get out of this space where we are trying so hard to like fight against what our body wants and needs that we call ourselves lazy. It's not laziness. It's just not meant for you. If you are going into a workspace where you feel drained as soon as you enter the door, that is not for you. I had a job that I had for years that I would walk in and I would get headaches right away, immediately. That is not a safe space. That is not a good space. And when you get to that point where you recognize that your body is literally giving you the signs and the signals that you need, and you choose not to fight it, that's when you can find freedom, right? So for me, even today, I was like, okay, should I do Instacart today? I don't mind helping people through Instacart. I don't mind doing it. But when it becomes something where it's like, I have to do this simply for money, it becomes less motivating for me. And there are days where I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I have the energy. But like today just feels like a calming day. Today feels like a day to take it slow, and I've had multiple days this week like that, and I'm not fighting against it. I'm not going to be bitter about it. I'm not gonna be like, I did turn on the app and then I saw the like 2 orders come up and I was like, that's not it. So I'm probably gonna do a few videos today. You might see a few uploads from me either today or just uploading like in the same I definitely feel like this is a video kind of day. But yeah, it's like, trust yourself. And it takes work. It definitely takes work. For me, I found that a lot of the negative self-talk that I had was not mine. It was things that I'd heard from family that was repeating in my mind through my words. And it got to a point where I believed those things. And I would say those things for myself. And it would sound like me, but it wasn't me. And it was just like, when I recognized that for myself, like, this is not me. I don't think like this. I am a limitless person. I'm a limitless visionary. I think, therefore I am. Like, I am the kind of person that, as long as it comes up as an idea for me, and it's like, I can do it, right? Nothing is impossible to me. And when I recognize that the limiting beliefs and the limitations that I had on my thinking and the feelings of being stuck weren't mine, and then not only recognizing it, but then doing something about it, doing what I said I was gonna do. And the amazing thing for me is that since I've left my job, and I've stayed in contact every once in a while with some people, and the amount of people around me in my friend group who have been like, one person is getting ready to leave, the other person is preparing to leave, the other person is looking for a job. It's like me leaving jump-started for people. Not because it was like, oh, everyone wants to leave because I'm leaving. It's that me taking that step. First of all, I vocalized it, and I made it clear what I wanted to do and what I was going to be doing, traveling. And then, not only that, but I actually did something about it because I was unhappy, and I knew I was unhappy, and I no longer wanted to settle for being unhappy. And the people who were closest to me, who heard me say those things and saw me do those things, and I've just heard reports of like one by one, people are leaving because they want better, because they recognize they can do better. And it's just like, that is it. Like, having that level of awareness is great, but then doing something about it, no matter how scary it is, no matter how crazy it is. Like, I am in a space right now, right, where I'm like, you know what? I want to make money by doing tarot readings, by selling jewelry that I make, which I'm going to invest in soon, by selling tea blends that I make and smoke blends. That's how I want to make money. And getting to a space where I have told the universe that that is what I want to do. Instacart right now is like it's here, it's convenient, it's fast. That's not what I want to do. And I'm getting to a point where I am making it clear to the universe, this is not it. You know, I am not going to compromise. And you give the universe no other option but to see you through in the way that you desire. And when you see that manifest for you, I think that is the ultimate joy. So that is where I'm at going into 2024, of say, as once I do get the equipment and the materials that I want, it's like, okay, these are the two methods of making money that I want to satisfy me, to make a way for me. This is how I want to pay off my debt. This is how I want to invest in my homestead and my land and the home and the cabin and everything that I see in my mind's eye. This is how I want to make it happen. And being like, all right, guys, let's do it. You know, and just working with your guys, working with your team, and recognizing that they do have your best interests at hand. So once again, trust that shape-shifting energy, that shifting energy, that transformation energy. It's time to shift. It's time to change, especially before 2024. Do not let it be that you continually put things off and you continually say, oh, I'll do it later, or I'll do it when I have this, or I'll do it when I don't have this, or I'll do it now. Do it now. We are entering, and we are already in a space of shifting in a global scale, where things are unlevel, things are coming out of balance, things are shifting in a new way, where it's one group of people who are choosing to live in one way versus another group of people. And it's just like, are you waking up? Are you delaying your waking up? Are you delaying your awakening? Are you like stagnating yourself? Are you ignoring your guides? Are you ignoring your intuition? Is your intuition telling you to move and you're choosing to stay? Is your intuition saying open up that business and you're saying no? Is your intuition saying, you know, it's time for you to move to this place and you're saying no? Is your intuition telling you it's time for you to break up with this person and you're choosing to stay? Is your intuition telling you it is time to cut off this person and you're choosing to keep them in your life even though they're draining your energy and they're making you feel terrible about yourself? Is your intuition telling you that, you know, this is not for you and you're choosing to stay, or this is for you when you're choosing to ignore it? Is your intuition telling you to apply for this new job or this new promotion and you are choosing to allow your fear to hold you back? I used to say, if it scares me, then I know it's for me. And that has worked and applied for me in terms of like going for promotions, going for things that I'm not qualified for, but I know that I'm going to learn and I know I'm going to grow. And sure, it's going to put pressure on me, but I know that something glorious has to come out of it. So yeah, how are you holding yourself back? What are you ignoring? And this message has been coming out through all the readings that I've been doing, and I definitely feel like it has to do with my collective. But it's like, a lot of us are stopping ourselves from greater things because we are scared and because we feel comfortable in the now. For me, that level of stagnancy and feeling stuck is always when I'm comfortable. And sometimes that comfort is like, okay, this is cool, this is chill, you know, I can, but like at some point you have to get to a point where it's like, is this comfortable or am I settling? Because it's like, at first it might feel uncomfortable, but the longer you stay in it, the more comfortable you get, even though you don't like it. Staying in a job that you hate for the sake of benefits. And again, I know I'm coming from a space where I am young, you know, I have my whole life ahead of me. But it's like, why do you have to put that kind of limitation on yourself? Your age is not, it should not be the determining factor, right? Your age should not be a determining factor. There are always going to be things that are gonna be there as reasons to keep you where you are. And again, you are your own person. You have free will. You can choose to stay in it, but don't be surprised when you get more and more miserable. Don't be surprised when you get more and more sick. Don't be surprised when things start to break down around you. Because it's like a tower that's been telling you, you've seen all the signs, you've seen all the cracks, you've seen all the destruction. You've gotten strike after strike after strike of lightning on that tower. You see it crumbling, but you choose to ignore it. And at the last moment where you're just like, you're comfortable, you're sitting in your tower and it's all cool, and then all of a sudden it crumbles and you're like, oh my God, how did that happen? It's not all of a sudden. It wasn't all of a sudden. It's been one after the other, after the other, after the other. And this is not to pin anyone down whatsoever. But it is definitely a message that has to come out, because as soon as I press record sometimes it's like, y'all say what you gotta say. You know, it's time to nurture yourself. It's time to allow yourself to grow. It's time to do the thing that is uncomfortable to get to your new level. It's time to expand. It's time to grow. It's time to put the pressure on. Time to make some diamonds out here. It really is. And again, I feel like this is definitely a message that has to come out. But for someone who's ignoring it, who keeps like, it keeps coming up and you keep ignoring it. And it's like, no, you're supposed to be doing something about this now. Because your guides, your angels, your higher self knows that 2024 is going to be a powerful year for you. But it can only be powerful if you start to do the things that you need to do now. What are you ignoring? And I might do a meditation of just asking questions and you tapping in with yourself of just like, what are you ignoring? What are you ignoring? What are you saying no to that in your heart of hearts you know is something you want to do? What are you making excuses for that you're saying, no, I can't do this, no, I won't do this, no, what are you holding yourself back from? And why? So I pulled out Coca 36 Foresight. So some of you might be in this energy where you are psychic and you have seen things in your mind's eye. You have seen your future, or you have seen how something will turn out. And instead of doing something about it, you've ignored it. You've dismissed it as a crazy daydream, or a crazy, like, it's all in my head, or I'm just imagining things. And some of you have like sabotaged your timelines. Like for real, like some of you have sabotaged potential timelines because you refused to do the thing, to do the work. It's like getting all the warning signs and just ignoring them, even though you knew it was coming. Yeah, I think that's all. But that is a sad space to be in. And again, it's not coming from a place of judgment because I have done it and I've been in that space. And it's just like that point where you get to a point of pain, yeah, but like your mind is numb, your emotions are numb, your body is numb, your body hurts, you're in pain, you don't want to do this anymore, you feel depressed, you feel heavy, nothing is working, nothing seems to be going right, and you're just like, why? And it's like something needs to be shaken up. Your guides are shaking things up for you, your angels are shaking things up for you, and it's like, when will you tune in? When will you recognize this is not going against you, this is for you? This is not to hurt you, this is for your growth if you let it. Otherwise, you're gonna sit there and just take all the punches and just feel depressed and be like, woe is me? Why is it me? Why is this happening to me? But it's like, no, it's happening for you if you would just open your eyes and look at the signs. What are you ignoring? What are you ignoring? Come on now, what are you ignoring? You can comment it down below if you feel guided to, but what are you ignoring? What have you said no to that your heart is saying yes to? This one was passion flower, surrender. I think I shuffle a little bit differently from people in that, like, whatever cards fall out and whatever cards turn over is what I take. Like, sometimes we put it back, but like for me, if it falls out, got lavender, weaver. You are the weaver of your destiny. Again, in the end, you are the only one who can affect change in your life. You're the only one who can take steps to make change, to make something shift in your life, whether it be shifting your mindset. You know, a lot of people do find help in doing affirmations, and I find myself doing it sometimes too. I'm like, oh, I don't really listen to affirmations, but I make my own. There are times when if I feel my mindset going a certain way, I'm like, nope, that's not true. I am this. I am creative. I am powerful. I am a visionary. I make things happen. I take the things that I make and they are amazing. The things that I say inspire people. The things that I do